right? Tradition can be something, Damien Kyle, I was listening to Damien. Damien's a great friend. We talk pretty regularly. And he said his last trip to Israel, he was talking to his tour guide, and they started talking about tradition, and the tour guide has become a believer. And he said, the interesting thing is, he said, we talked about tradition. He said, it's a funny thing. He said, my wife, whenever we have a roast at home, and he said, my wife will always cut off both ends of the roast before she makes the roast. And he said, I never thought much about it. He said, finally, I asked her, I said, why do you do that, by the way? Why do you, he said, I thought over the years we've wasted pounds of meat, and she said, well, I don't know, it's the way my mother always did it. So he said, Bubby lives there. So he said, we went, he said, I asked her, I said, Mom, why do you, I was talking to my wife, and she said, she does it because why do you cut off? And she said, well, my mom always did it. And he said, remarkably, near 100, that grandma was still alive. And he said, I went to her and I said, why do you, I asked my wife, I asked your daughter, now I'm asking you, why do you always cut off the ends of the meat? And she said, because that's the only way it fits in the pan that I have.